One, justice for Tyrone West and justice for all victims of police brutality. Tawanda, it's all you.
Mic check. Thank you, my queen. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. Tonight we don't have any special guests, but just hold on until we show you the video that we show you every week, and hope everybody's doing amazing on this amazing, beautiful West Wednesday. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Can't stop, won't stop, till killer cops are in cell blocks. Can't stop.
The following video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No,
why would you say that? Why would you say that?
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog-tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, Sid, what's wrong with it? Improper way with it. There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the law?
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration? Profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Oh, sorry, do me a favor, take out your keys.
Dad, you can record me. For what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I'm about to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 or 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they can never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mic check.
Mic check. Oh.
Mic check. Sorry, I'm late.
So mic check. So again, I want to thank everybody that's tuning in, and big shout out to the West Coalition, just for always being here, especially in these days where it seems like a lot of things are just going haywire right now in the world. And it's not even just involving police brutality. It's just like just being in survival mode, just with the daily things that we all have to do just as humans. But tonight I just wanted to talk to you guys more in depth about my brother Tyrone West, because when I was just on one of my Warrior Brothers shows and he dived into my brother's case and he shared it, and it just like broke my heart, and it just took me back. Like it literally took me back to that unfortunate day that changed not just my life, but my family life, but my community life forever, And the saddest part, this is not a club that someone signs up for and say, hey, recruit me. I want something terrible and horrific to happen to my loved one. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. And, it's just like, I really miss my big brother so much. Like, not only was he a father, he was my best friend, church buddy, all that. And for his life to be taken at the tender age of 44 years old and to only get to meet one of his grandchildren, it breaks my heart. Like it's devastating. Like at the end of the day, the same way officers and anybody leaves to go to work and they want to return home to their family, my brother deserved to return home to his family. And it goes bigger than just my brother. And just being in something that we never asked for 661 weeks. That's a very long time. And I wouldn't wish this type of pain on no one. Like, it's unreal. Like, and the saddest part that really breaks my heart is that it keeps happening over and over and over again. And it made me really think about this system. Like, and that's what I was saying, literally, when I was talking, and I was just expressing myself, like, because it bothers me a lot when people say, well, the system is broken, da 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 da. Like, first of all, and I'll say it again, when anything is broken, that means at one point in time it was operating and functioning well before it broke. The system is not broke at all. It is designed to oppress our people. It's horrible, and it's disgusting. And when you try to work with things within the system, you keep on seeing the same things happen over and over again. And the fight is real. And I urge everybody, anybody that have to deal with the things that victim family goes through, you have to stay 10 toes down. 24 hours a day. It don't stop. Like, and the saddest part, like going through something like this, and I remember being recruited into this when I never asked for it, and when it happened, and I was looking at families that came before me and my family, and some of the ones that were in there for 5 or 6 years or a decade, I was like, wow, that's a long time. And now I found myself to be in those same shoes. That's a very long time. But I don't care how long it takes. I'm here for the long run, and it's never, ever just been about my brother. It is more than that. I love my brother. I am my brother's keeper. And I do highlight him first as but literally right there with my brothers, there's a bunch of brothers, sisters, fathers, daughters, mothers, cousins, uncles that are all suffering from this system. And it is rotten to its core. It is rotten to its core. And when you fight a system that combats other systems of racism, sexism, and all these isms that affect us as human beings, you have no choice but to fight. So I would never be standing here telling somebody, oh, you know what? Don't vote, don't do this, even though at the end of the day, no one's coming to save us. Because with me being an active voter for years, voting, and I'm going to always be one. Because at the end of the day, I look at the fact that it's these laws, it's these lynching laws that keeps us the way we are. And until we get this stuff destroyed and dismantled, it's going to be the same occurrence over and over again with new blood, a new family. And that is disgusting. That is horrible. So I would never tell nobody not to vote, but I'm letting you know voting is not it like that. That's not the only thing that you should do. You have to literally do everything, like from voting to G-checking. And when I say G-checking, getting up in these legislators' faces, letting them know, hey, we are the ones that, pretty much your paycheck. You work for us. Like you're failing us. You're failing us over and over again. And this is sad. Like I just noticed, like every time it's election time, you have all these politicians. I call them politicians. And it's to the fact I don't even know how to say politicians without saying politicians. It's disgusting, but they come up and they run up to you and they got all these wonderful ideas as to why you should, stand by them and what changes they're going to make. And literally, as soon as they start working within the system, they forget that ambition that they had that walked them into that door. They forget the people that actually voted for them and said, hey, I support you. What's next for us? They forget about us. And that's why I always say, like when they say, we want justice. Yeah, we do. But at the end of the day, I know that there is no justice. It's just us. And I'll say it again. There is no justice. It's just us trying to hold folks accountable. Because justice to me looks like everybody lives in a world where everybody's treated equally, that you don't have to worry about your sons, daughters, fathers, brothers, uncles, cousins, friends, whoever being pulled over because of their skin color. And you don't have to worry about even just being pulled over. Like, it is nowhere safe to me in America. I'm sorry, like if there was a safe place, I would have been packed my whole entire family and said, look, I don't care if y'all want to move, we're going. We're going to this safe place where we ain't got to worry about people judging us for our skin color, where we're going to all be treated equal. We're going to go. And I would take my friends too, like let's all go. But it's everywhere. As we read upon a list that nobody wants to read or hear about, that breaks people's hearts, when we say these names to real people, on a particular day or night, when they started off or however, they didn't ask for what got to them. They didn't ask for the outcome. It's just so sad that in a blink of an eye, literally in a blink of an eye, something happened. And I just remember literally that morning. And then what happens is when something horrible happens, you be stuck with, oh my goodness, what could I have done to make that outcome different? Like, it could have been anything, and you start blaming yourself. The survivors start actually blaming themselves. But I'm here to tell you, as a survivor who blamed myself, because all I kept saying, I should have just told my brother, no, he couldn't borrow my car. Maybe he would still be here. But we can't predict these horrible outcomes. I didn't do anything to ask for this. all I wanted my brother was safe. You know, I was wanting him safe because I'm like, okay, you know, if he's using my vehicle going to and from work, he don't have to worry about like no community violence, staying there, somebody trying to do something to him, whatever. But at the end of the day, we should never blame ourselves. I would never tell my brother no. So when I went back to that and I wrestled and I struggled with that so bad, like I struggled with that real bad. Like I said, a simple no, you can't go get this young lady. What would have happened? But we can't predict life. We don't know which way it's going to curve you. We don't know anything. All I know is that's my big brother. I love him, and it's nothing that I wouldn't have done and still won't do for my big brother. Even death can never ever separate us. I feel as though we're even close to now. We were close. Like, this was my big brother, a father figure, like everything, like my care provider for my children. He would watch my children, you know, and it's sad that he didn't get a chance to finish living out his life and doing his artwork and all that wonderful stuff that we wanted for his future. You know, and nobody would have ever thought or predict that on July the 18th, 2013, that was going to be the final moments that I had to experience him on earth. You know, a day that started off perfect. You know, with him calling me so happy. Hey, sis, you up? Like, he was a punctual man. Like, he always used to tell me, sis, if you show up to your job at the time, your shift starts at 8, you need to be there at 7. And I'm like, the devil is a liar. If I'm there at 8, I'm good, you know? Like, but he really believed, because he like, anything can happen, just be there before time, that makes you on time. So I'm like, okay. But my whole point is, anybody that's struggling with something, if you're blaming yourself, don't blame yourself, because you did not know that there was going to be, you know, that person, that evil entity that came in and just snuffed your loved one out. Nobody knew it. Nobody would ever be able to predict that. So I'm like, if I feel bad just for lending my brother my car as a safe haven, I can only imagine how parents felt who said, you know, who their child was going through a mental crisis, and they say, you know what, let me call 911. They get my baby to the hospital, and then law enforcement officers come in and they do what they do. And they snatch or hurt their loved one. Nobody asked for this, but my whole point is, don't blame yourself. We need to blame this dirty system. We need to dismantle it. Like, I've been trying everything in the world to try to make something that will never really change. It's like you could go a whole lifetime of trying to do the right thing, but then you got a system that's going to always breed racism, sexism, and all these isms that take away from people. And the saddest part about it is, if people stop having all this hate before they even get to know a person, do you know how lovely this world would be? And people just stop looking at someone, just judging them based upon the way they look. The one that you're judging and frowning up at, they be the one that love you more than anybody. I promise you. You know, and it's just sad and disgusting, but I just wanted to share that. I don't know who needed to hear that, but I was going to talk about something totally tonight, but my spirit said, you know what? Don't talk about that. Talk about people that blame themselves just for, you know, whatever, you know, being victimized themselves because their loved one is no longer here. Do not blame yourself. You know, I urge you to get counseling. I urge you to take care of yourself. You could not have changed that outcome. Unfortunately, in life, we can't change outcomes. Like, we can't change, like, you walk and you slip and fall. You know, you walk, you slip and fall. I mean, certain things you might could try to prevent. You could try to, I'm going to make sure the floor is stable. But sometimes you can just fall. The floor could be stable as I don't know what. You can wear the most comfortable shoes, and then you could just fall. It just happens, you know, and you don't expect it. And some falls hurt worse than others, you know. But my whole point is, just looking at things, we have to do better with supporting and shutting stuff down. And when I say shut stuff down, if that means that we all collectively get together and say, you know what? They are not changing these laws and rules. Well, guess what? Let's not support, let's hit them in their pockets. Let's not spend here. Let's not, whatever the case may be, for them to literally hear us. And it's sad when you live in a capitalist society where money is everything. It's disgusting. It's horrible. It is horrible. And these is in a time, now you got people at the gas pump like, damn, should I put this amount in there or should I put it in my stomach? Should I fill my car up with gas or should I fill my refrigerator up? It is sad right now. It is sad, but I'm just saying, like, we just need to pull together however we can help each other with support. And sometimes help look like just listening. Help looks like if you got like a list of people, if you can't do something, maybe you have a list, that you can give somebody ideas or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, especially now, seeing the stuff that I have never dreamt that I ever would think that I would see, it's unreal. It's unreal. It's all you can say is like, wow. That's why I don't like watching TV. I don't like none of that stuff. Not watching the news, not TV, because I love watching my little true crime shows and things like that. But just turning on the news and seeing somebody get hurt, and then they saying stuff like to the point planes are crashing into a fire truck, like all type of horrific things. And then certain medias keep showing the scenes, not hearing about the family members of the firefighters or whoever was injured on a plane or whatever the case may be. We're bigger than stories. We're bigger than all this foolishness. But at the end of the day, they don't care about us. Stop letting people use our pain for their gain. And just like now, we're coming up on 2 years when that bridge collapsed. That was a horrific scene that happened. It shouldn't have never happened. But things happen, and it leaves us scratching our head and blaming ourselves. But it's just sad. But in times like that, when you get sad, it's really nothing. I mean, it's something that you can do, but blaming yourself and just playing the blame game, that doesn't help. So it's just like, what can you collectively do? Well, for one, you always got to be your loved one voice. I don't care whatever situation they were in, you always advocate for them, the best way that you can. So I just felt the need to share that and just to say that I love you guys, like just for taking the time to listen, just being there. It's just a lot. Like the things that we go through and endure in life, we should never have to do. Like no one should ever say, hey, I'm waking up, I'm going to go see my parole and probation officer, and in 2 weeks, I'm going to be off, I'm going to get my life back to be with my family. I ain't got to check in no more. I can just live, breathe, and take care of my son, family, this, that, and third, my kids, whatever the case may be. And then you get taken away from the person that you're checking in. The stuff that happens makes no sense. You cannot make up this stuff. You should be able to, if you're in your house and you feel like somebody's breaking in or somebody's doing something, you should be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, I fear that something's going to happen. And you come to your door with all the love in the world and you rebuke somebody in the name of Jesus Christ and you literally are executed on the spot. They said what they was going to do and couldn't wait to do it, just doing anything. They at their command, I'm talking about Sonia Massey, to say, you know what? Put that, you better not throw them. She's like, what? I rebuke that. Like, I know you lying. And then like put it away, and then you go in and dump a pot out nowhere, throwing nothing, and you literally headshot? Really? And then you want to talk horrible about this beautiful young queen that you just snatched away her life when your partner wants to render aid? Oh, no need in calling her a B? And that's what they do. Like, they don't even have empathy when they assassinate us. They don't even have empathy. And when they do the fake empathy, that's only because a crowd is around. So when they did the fake empathy for my brother at that scene, because all it took was them to stop. It's simple. Took for them to stop. They wanted to continue. Everybody wanted to beat my brother as if it was a sport. That was disgusting. That was horrible. And if the things that happened to my brother on that day, if my brother and his friends would have did that to somebody, you wouldn't have never seen them again. It would have been an open and closed book right then and there on the spot. But it's okay when some people do that horrible things. So I just want to let you guys know we have to do better. And if you step back and you don't say something, you are complicit into the situation by not saying something. That's giving consent. That's saying it's okay. There's no way in the world, me as an educator, me as a woman that loves children, am I going to sit by as a human being and watch another adult hurt or harm the most vulnerable thing in the world, and that's a child. There's no way in the world I'm gonna sit back and well, it ain't me. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna turn out the cheek. No, that is horrible. When you turn the other cheek, when you see wrongdoings happening right in front of you, and you know it, you are a part of the problem. Like, that is giving your consent. That is disgusting. I just want to let you know, and the night is so sad that we literally have a list of like 26 victims. I don't know if we have any on our community violence list, but I do know for our police brutality list, we have 26 names. But guess what? And I remember a while, Uncle Bill made a violent point when he was talking about like all the attacks. And I remember one of our podcast shows, he literally broke down the number of people that are attacked that survive. And it's overwhelming. So I'm thinking in my mind, if our police brutality list is growing in a horrific way of the executions, right? What about the survivors? I can only imagine right now as I'm talking to you, there is somebody getting terrorized right now for no reason other than the color of blue. And that's that badge. And that's that blue wall of silence. And it needs to be done with. It's we go through enough just trying to just figure every day out. Y'all have no idea in my mind what I just go through just to make it through one day. I can't even plan my week, my month out. One day I'm in my mind, how am I going to do that? How am I going to move this way, move that, da-da-da-da, whatever the case may be. That's one day, 24 hours. And then when something happens, like an emergency situation, then you throw all the way back. Like I had a situation the other day, and I thank God my child's okay. But to get a call, hey, Mom, I need to go to the hospital, da-da-da-da, and I go, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to patient first, and I go to patient first, and then literally they send me to the ER, and then literally I'm getting in my bed 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and got to get back up at 6. Literally, and then go to school, work, be productive. Nobody knows what even happened. I'm being cheerful, feel like I'm about to pass out, but my babies in my classroom are giving me energy and just going through that. So you never know what someone's going through just because they wear it well. So my point of saying all that is check in with your loved ones. Just check in. Just say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? How can I help? Whatever, any type of help for anybody, especially nowadays, we all need help. Like, just to listen, to check in. And that's why big shout out to all my loved ones that does that. Like, I love you guys. Y'all, what y'all do is priceless. I can never put a price on it, making sure that we are all good. And I love y'all for that. Like, I love y'all for that. For saying a prayer, for whatever y'all could do. I love you like real life love. Love you for real. So we just got to continue on fighting this ugly, evil system, but we can never make it turn us ugly. Like, once we start, it's easy to hate. It's so easy to hate, but it's so hard to love because people make it so hard for you to love them. That's the hardest task, is loving somebody. But I promise you, love makes a difference. That's why I've never, ever taken a stance of hatred or let's do this to them because we didn't get that, or let's do something evil. Never. I don't even have that in my mindset. I don't even care. And I've been tested so much this week. Literally, are you going to do the right thing about what? And I always do the right thing. It be hard, but I'm going to do the right thing because guess what? That's going to make me sleep at night. My conscience won't let me do nothing else other than be honest and just keep it moving and try to help in whatever way that I can help anybody. Whether it's just being a listening ear, whether it's just sending you a positive spiritual message in the morning, whatever. All that stuff makes a different day. Do you know one word, not even a bunch of words, one negative word could literally mess up someone's whole entire day? That's why, literally, when I used to hear the saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, that was the biggest lie ever. Because even with sticks and stones, yeah, they hurt your bones, but you can recover. But with words, that does something, oh my goodness, that does something so devastating. It could change everything. So please be kind. Please be kind. And like I teach my babies every day, follow the golden rule. It's simple. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Simple. Simple. It ain't even hard. If you don't want nobody being nasty to you, don't be nasty to nobody. You don't want nobody lying to you, don't lie to nobody. You don't want nobody backstabbing you, don't backstab nobody. Simple. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And if any officers are monitoring my page, anybody, treat people the way you want to be treated. Madam, ma'am, sir, please do that. And the world will be much better. So that's all I have to say. I'm going to check in with Khalil to see if we have any questions or comments. I'm going to check in to see if anybody on the West Coalition wants to add in too before we go to our sad list. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Just for the comments, we have from Linda a mic check.
Okay, awesome.
And Tawanda, Brian did come on, but there are no, it's the good news, there are no names on the community violence list this week.
Awesome. Yeah, and thank you, Brian, for even joining us. And that's always good news when there is no violence. So I'm just so happy because it's so devastating. I just wish in a real life that we will see the world shift and change. It ain't even the world, that people will shift and change in this world, and we will have nobody on none of the lists, you know? Mm-hmm. And then I just also wanted to say, just keep the people in prayer, like the homeless people. I don't know why, like something is on my mind and spirit, but please just keep everybody in prayer. And I think about as springtime hits, even though we just got out the winter months and we know old man winter was not playing with us, but I think about the people that now are facing, okay, we let you ride with not turning your BG&E off because it was the winter time. Now, we ready to turn your lights off and all this stuff. And then even the homeless people, you know, my heart goes out for them, even though they might have had like a lot of people that maybe office shelter and stuff like that for the winter month. They no longer have it again. Pray for those people, guys. Pray for those, because we're in times now where literally you might be a paycheck or two away from being homeless yourself, or you never know what ball you are dribbled. What ball you are dribbled, right? You never know what ball comes your way that changes your life. And you be in those same shoes that you're frowning up your nose at, or judging somebody if they ask you to give them $1 and you want to be stereotyping, give them $1 if you got it. Don't talk about them. Don't frown up at them. I remember I used to see people like the panhandlers or whoever or whatever people ask for money. Did I see people yelling rude stuff at them, get a job? If you can't say something nice, don't say nothing. Like that could be anybody. That could be your loved one. That could be your friend. So I'm just praying for everybody. I'm praying for the sick, the shut in. I am praying. This is not the West Coalition. This is Tawanda Jones. Because again, we come from different beliefs and background. As for me, and I'm stepping outside of the West Coalition, I believe in God. I believe in prayer. That's the only thing that keeps me sustained. So again, I'm praying for Lottie, Dottie, and everybody. So with that being said, I'm going to say our mission statement, and we can read our sad list. And
Tawanda,
oh yes,
I'd like to add a few things if we have time.
sure, please. No, we definitely have plenty of time. So, so I'm glad Uncle Bill wants to share something. So the floor is all yours. Mic check.
Mic check. So I'd like to comment on a few of the excellent points you made and then add a couple of things. You were talking about the golden rule, and I think I agree with you 100% that as far as we're concerned, do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. However, capitalism has a different golden rule, and that golden rule goes like this: he or she who has the gold makes the rules. And we see that play out all the time. That's their golden rule. Second, you spoke about Tyrone only got to see one of his grandchildren. My wife and I are very fortunate. We have four, and they mean the world to us. And so Tyrone not having that opportunity to have time with the other grandchildren and with the first, it's a huge loss. And for those grandchildren not having their grandfather, it's hard for me to imagine how huge loss that is. Your point that the system is not broken, that it's designed to be this way, just give an example of that because that's spot on. I taught for quite a long time in the city schools, and I was not there in the 60s, but in the 60s, out of 24 school districts in Maryland, and this is an example of the system not being broken, but serving the rich and serving racism. In the 60s, the Baltimore City schools were predominantly white in terms of the student body. And out of 24 school districts, we were near the top in money per student. We were like fourth or fifth. After King was assassinated and there was a rebellion, there was this white flight phenomenon. And the real estate industry got rich off that because they bought those houses from black folks at a low price, sold them to from white folks at a low price, sold them to black folks at a high price, and they made a lot of money. They turned Edmondson Village from virtually all white to all black over 10 years. So by the early 70s, the school's student population had become predominantly black. And at that point, we dropped precipitously. Out of the 24 districts, we went down to 21st in money per pupil, near the very bottom. And that's an example of the exactly what you said. The system's not broken; it's designed to work that way. Um, the next thing I want to mention is something new. We know that ICE is kidnapping people, and about 30 people have died in their jails, and quite a few have also been killed on the street. And they're trying to expand in PG County. They're trying to open up an office in a building that has the SNAP program, the community college classes, and other services that are used by immigrants. So people can come in there and get kidnapped right on the spot. So there's been very powerful protests against ICE expanding at that spot. It's in a section of Howard County called Hyattsville. Students from Howard University have been there protesting, Northwestern High School, they've been there protesting, and Progressive Labor Party is going to organize, and I'm not speaking as a member of West Wednesday now, Progressive Labor Party is going to organize the May Day March against the expansion of that ICE facility on Saturday, May the 2nd. So everybody be welcome to come to that. And on one last thing I want to mention, you talked about if there were a safe place in the world, you would take your family there. And in the 60s, a lot of Black Americans moved to Ghana They were called expats, hoping to live in a place that was not as racist. And it was interesting because Malcolm X was doing a tour through Africa. He went to Ghana and he spoke with all of those folks who came to a big meeting to hear him. And one of the points he made was, look, you need to go back to the United States. That's where the fight against racism has to be waged. And you can't escape it. You got to go back and face it, and you got to fight it, and you got to change it. And I thought he made a very good point. So I just wanted to say those things tonight. It's a privilege and an honor to be here as part of West Wednesday. Mic check.
Mike check.
Mic check. Yeah, just to kind of piggyback and thank you also for sharing those points. And I like what you said about the one who has the goal, makes the rule. It's always been the case, but again, it still breaks down. I don't care how much they make the rules with this foolishness. It still falls back to treating people the way you want to be treated, because guess what? It's something called karma. And my thing is, I wish people double doses of whatever they dish out. So if you planting good seeds and good soil, I hope they be fruitful, multiply, and everything. And if you planting bad seeds, I hope the weeds catch you and get you. And I wish all that upon you. As a saying my brother used to always say, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And that's so true. That's so true. And it's just so sad and disgusting, the stuff and the things that are happening around the country. So I'm glad you made those good points tonight. And yeah, it's just sad and disgusting, and just the stuff that we go through, and then all the foolishness with ICE and everything else, like kidnapping people. That's like I said, they share the same name, police. They all the same. They've been kidnapping us, doing home invasions and all that. It's the tails and the police. It's the end of the police. And they just trying to take over and do whatever they want to do, just like they've been doing. Just under different names, under different, and it just almost remind me of those daggone cameras, the speed cameras, when they seen that it was failing and all that stuff, they actually snatched it away for a simple time or whatever. Because they like, oh, it failed. We did this test, and it's like they playing our face. They did like on every administration. He was, like I said, the higher the level, the bigger the devil. So whoever administration is on, they can bring back stuff that they know failed or don't work or work to their advantage, and it's just okay, and it's not okay. It's not okay. Like with those cameras, they showed where they failed with snapping people pictures, like cars that wasn't even speeding and doing all that. And so what they did, they got rid of it for a little bit, but they came back with a vengeance. They got them now on highways everywhere. It's
Yep.
like, it's disgusting, but that's how this system is. It's the evil system that combats different systems that work together to destroy us. So those were excellent points. I just wanted to piggyback off of that. And I see that we have like 2 more comments. So I guess I'll pass it over to Khalil, but thank you, Uncle Bill. Mic check.
My pleasure. Nice check.
Mic check. Yeah, Linda was just providing more information, saying it's PG County, not Howard County, but some great activity from the Howard University students living in a nearby building, in the location where they, have plans to possibly house detained people by ICE's 6505 Bellcrest Road by PG Plaza. Keep ICE out of Hyattsville. And Linda's last comment is, love that, higher the level quotes. Mic check.
Mic
check. Thanks for the correction, Linda.
Yeah, thanks, Linda, for commenting and being the only one that's actually, sending comments and thoughts. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, and Uncle Bill, if I wasn't out of town, I ain't been to Mayday in a minute, but I definitely would have paint outside of, not as the West Coalition, but as myself, just to go out there and stand in solidarity, because, you know, I love y'all May Day. So I'll be sending my speech and my love, and I'm just like, prayerfully, maybe next May Day, I won't be like out of, because I'll be out of town. I'll be in Florida, prayerfully. So with my
All
daughter
right.
on the way coming back, but I know I'm gonna be traveling. So thank you for that. But
You
anyway,
got it.
I guess awesome. So I guess if anybody else want to share anything, you Brian want to share anything or say anything, or Hillary or Rachel or anybody or Claire, do you want to share anything before I actually read the say the mission statement, and then we go on with the sad list tonight, the police brutality one?
Excuse me, Twanda, just because Bill brought up ICE activity in this area, I just wanted to say this Saturday, as part of a No Kings rally in Hagerstown, there is going to be a rally because there's an ICE facility being opened about 7 miles away in a place called Williamsport. But they're protesting in Hagerstown because the Williamsport facility is just down the road off by itself. No one would see you there. But so I'm going to be at that. Again, continuing the struggle against ICE in Maryland, and people are invited to come for it's in 12 o'clock till 3 o'clock rally in Hagerstown. There's some earlier rallies in other outlying areas. You can probably find out about it if you're if you want to go into that. But that's just again the entire immigration, deportation, kidnapping, murder, whatever Milan, whatever mixture of that stuff is going on. There's a lot of evidence that it's going to be ramping up here in Baltimore in the next month or so. And so, you might want to connect with your neighbors and talk to people and be ready for that, because there's like 100 new SUVs parked in Baltimore waiting for ICE agents to hop into them and start breaking people down. So that's just another place that another side of this struggle that we're all together in. That's all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brother Brown, for sharing, and thank you for coming on. And I'm so glad that you don't have to take the weight of sharing a sad list and things like that. So thank you for that. And unfortunately, the night that our comrades has to share the sad list of the police brutality list. So but thank you. All right, so I want to ask again, do anybody else want to add to the conversation before I say the mission statement and we move on to, unfortunately, this sad police brutality list?
I think we're good.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you guys again. All right, so I'm going to go straight into our statement, and I'm just going to say, because y'all know I've not read the list, and God knows when. All right, so it is the mission of the West Coalition not to just fight for accountability for my big brother Tyrone West, but literally for all the victims of police brutality and murder. And when I say all, whether they were armed, unarmed, a victim to me is a victim, because at the end of the day, no one deserves to be brutally murdered, and no one deserves to be brutalized. Whether if they survive or not, it's disgusting. And it is not something that the West Coalition supports at all. We believe in mediation. We believe in that if anybody is not able to get along, and we know conflict happens in the world, it happens daily. But we believe that if you can sit down at the table to resolve this issue in a peaceful, respectful manner, that's what we believe in. Because if you can sit down at the table to talk about it, then that's good news. That even if you agree to disagree, that all parties walk away and everybody's safe. Unfortunately, these lists that we get that are from the local and national level, we don't have any details surrounding the case or the people involved. All we know that these are human beings, guys. That's all we know, that someone was unalive. And we don't support it. Like I said, I don't wish death on anyone. Like that's horrible, you know. So, and especially not murder. You know, we all go through, that's a part of life. Life, there's death, and nobody wants to deal with it. That's just sad. But I don't wish that on anyone. And definitely, so if I don't wish death on anyone, I'm definitely not wishing an evil act of murder. Like that's horrific. That is something that no one deserves. So again, it's been traumatizing to hear names and things like that. Please, this is your moment to exit out. And if you can bear with it, please stand by, because it's important. We're just highlighting people's names, but I know sometimes, you know, things trigger you when you go through trauma, you know. So if this is one of your trigger points, this is the perfect time to, you know, wish us well for the evening, and, you know, you could just hop off, and thank you for tuning in. So, unfortunately, there's not enough time to actually send positive vibes or prayers if you're into praying. There's not enough time in the world. I wish we could just do that literally. And I do try to send positive vibes and prayers all day long, but I wish we had a time on here where we could do that. But unfortunately, the time does not prevail to give us that kind of time. And I respect everybody's time, and it's getting late. So the time now is 7:58. At 8 o'clock on the dot, we will start reading this awful, sad list. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
You guys, the time now is 8 o'clock, and we normally try to be off by at 8. So I apologize in advance if we're going on a little bit longer. But again, it's important, because even though we have no details about any of the names that we read, but again, I'll say no one deserves to be brutally executed. And I'm going to hand it over. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Tonight
check.
for our list, a national list of those killed by the police. Across the country, we have a total of 26 names, 7 of which we don't have their explicit names, but they are listed. This comes from a 10-day period starting back on the 13th of March, going to the 22nd. The youngest person that is shown, whose age is shown, is about 24, and the oldest is 67. So again, we want to keep these families and their loved ones in mind as we read each of the names. I'll be starting off with the first 13 of those names. On the 13th, in Granbury, Texas, 67-year-old male, Don Marlowe.
Don Marlowe.
On the 13th, in Traverse City, Michigan, 50-year-old male, Darnell Wilson.
Darnell Wilson.
On the 13th, in Westlake, Louisiana, 42-year-old male, Christopher Hanks.
Christopher Hanks.
On the 13th, in Phoenix, Arizona, 40-year-old male, Jason Arrieta.
Jason
Arrieta.
Arietta.
On the 15th, in Verona, Washington, 44-year-old male, Eric Pottinger.
Eric
Eric
Pottinger.
Pottinger.
And my apologies, that was Verona, I believe, Wisconsin. Thank you. Again, on the 15th, in Phoenix, Arizona, 36-year-old male, Justin Schmidt.
Justin
Schmidt.
Schmidt.
On the 15th, in Augusta, Arkansas, 45-year-old male, Randy Ely.
Randy.
Ely.
On the 16th, in Cinnabar, Washington, this is a male whose age is unknown and whose name was withheld by the police.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Ashe.
Ashe.
On the 16th, in Lenoka Harbor, New Jersey, 55-year-old female, Suzanne Clark.
Suzanne Clark.
On the 17th, in Jasper, Georgia, 51-year-old male, Lawrence Michaels.
Lawrence Michaels.
On the 17th, in Cartersville, Georgia, a 45-year-old male, Justin Harden.
Justin Harden.
My apologies for any background noise. On the 17th, in Jacksonville, Florida, a 49-year-old male, Michael Kraus Jr.
Michael Kraus Jr.
On the 18th, in Selma, Texas, 60-year-old male, Byron Hoover.
Byron Hoover.
And I'll pass the second half of the list to Hillary.
Okay, thank you, Kalia. On the 18th, in Weymouth, Massachusetts, a male whose age is unknown and whose name was withheld by the police.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
Ashe.
On the 19th, in Summit, Wisconsin, 41-year-old male, Nathan Polakos.
Nathan Polakos.
Also on the 19th, in Thackerville, Oklahoma, 41-year-old male, Kevin Odom.
Kevin Odom.
On the 19th, in Roswell, New Mexico, 64-year-old male, William Roberts.
William Roberts.
On the 19th, in Gulfport, Mississippi, 42-year-old female, Phyllis Williams.
Phyllis Williams.
On the 19th, in Irvine, Kentucky, 46-year-old male, Christopher Rose.
Christopher Rose.
Also on the 19th, in Gainesville, Georgia, 24-year-old male, Lakota Simmons.
Lakota Simmons.
Okay, now we have a number of them where the names were withheld. Starting off on the 19th, in Longmont, Colorado, a female whose age is unknown and whose name was withheld by the police.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
Ashe.
On the 20th, in Everett, Washington, a male whose age is unknown and whose name was withheld by the police.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
Ashe.
On the 20th, in Corona, California, a male whose age is unknown and whose name was also withheld by the police.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
Ashe.
Ashe.
On the 21st, in Cameron, North Carolina, a male whose age is unknown and again whose name was withheld by the police. Cell blocks for killer cops.
Ashe.
Ashe.
On the 22nd, in Sandy, Utah, a male whose age is unknown and whose name was withheld by the police.
Cell blocks for
killer
cops.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And our final name for tonight, on the 22nd, in Amarillo, Texas, male who is 41 years old, Dustin Johnson.
Dustin Johnson.
And that completes our list for tonight. Let's think of all these families.
Yes, Hillary, thank you so much. So again, I want to give a big shout out to Rachel for putting this all on tonight, taking time on her busy schedule. I want to thank Uncle Bill, Brian. I want to thank our sister Kalia, who always brings it strong. And I want to thank the Queen Hillary, who always holds us down. And just thank Lottie Dottie and everybody for your time. Just thank you. Remember, live to love to live. And we will see you guys next West Wednesday. And just a little bit of information. We still have a lot of stuff that we have upcoming stuff. Y'all now spring has sprung. We will be boots on the ground outside again. And we'll be keeping the locations to you as we, head among them. As we get to them or get closer to them, we will definitely let you know where and when. And make sure you guys mark your calendar because April will be here before you know it. On April the 26th, guys, you don't want to miss. We're going to be at the Pill. We're going to have a documentary showing. If you didn't get a chance, this is a big chance to see both of the documentaries, Breaking Down the Blue Wall, as well as The Beat Goes On, guys. You're going to see two. We're going to have goodies and everything there. So make sure you get your tickets, and the tickets are going to be dirt cheap. So just throwing it out there now. Mark it on your calendars now. It's going to be on a Sunday from 1 to 4. Mark it on your calendars now and be ready for a good time. Live to love to live. And if you haven't, last but not least, if you haven't gotten a chance to buy one of our amazing t-shirts, please, we have merch. Please go on our webpage and get your t-shirts, guys. Now is the time. The weather is changing. You can take the jackets off and you can actually flex in one of our amazing t-shirts. So again, live to love to live. I love you all. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And Mr. West begging for his life. And Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No, why you talking to me? Why would you say that?
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said, police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the gun trace task force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's attorney see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salon vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the Officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working and working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.